Writing letters is a very personal way to communicate with each other. However, in today's world, this tradition is quickly becoming extinct. Therefore, I like to incorporate this concept into one of my writing lessons and then continue it throughout the year in center time. Hello and welcome. My name is Mary Ellen. If you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to do so. Also, give my video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. March 9, 1858 marks the day that the street mailbox was patented. Also, March 12, 1789 is the day that the U.S. Post Office was established. Now, although I usually start friendly letters at the very beginning of the school year, since the anniversary of these two important events is coming up, I thought this would be a great time to talk about it. I like for my students to have a writing journal throughout the year, which they get to decorate. A lot of teachers that I know have the students decorate the outside of their journal. However, I incorporate flexible seating in my classroom, which means that their journals are placed on a designated bookshelf, so they're usually stacked up or placed side by side. Because of this, I choose to have my students decorate the inside cover and the first line page, which just keeps their decorations from being destroyed. Throughout the year, my students have several note-taking assignments and then interactive items that they place into their journal, and one of them relates to the friendly letter. I show my students a PowerPoint on the 5 parts of a friendly letter, which are the heading, the salutation or the greeting, the body, the closing, and the signature. The PowerPoint that I use brings up each part one step at a time and labels it for the students. Now, I found my PowerPoint on the internet. There are several great ones out there that actually have some interactive activities in them, and you can find some on TPT as well. Throughout my lesson, the students are basically just copying it down and also labeling the different parts of a friendly letter. We do talk about how in a friendly letter, you don't necessarily need the address in the heading. We review the information that we learned in the lesson several times. One way that I would do that is during morning work. The students may have a letter where they need to fill in missing information or label the parts, and they are allowed to refer back to the notes that they took previously. Once we've had plenty of time to refer back to this concept, we'll then take a quiz, and my quiz consists of the students writing a letter. Now, I'm very open-ended on this letter. They can write it to anybody they want to. They can be a fictional character, they can make up a character, they can look at the world through a dog's perspective. My goal here is just that they write the letter correctly and they label the parts. Now that my students have letter writing down, I introduce the classroom activity. During center time, the students come up and they rotate our wheel, the random name picker, from class tools. I love this application. I use it for several different activities, whether I'm choosing partners or maybe a helper. I go in and I just type in my students' names and then I save my list, and it's there for the entire school year. So when my students come up, they rotate the wheel, they find who they're writing their letter to, then they click delete on that student's name. Then my next student will come up, they'll rotate the wheel, they'll see who they're writing the letter to, and they'll delete that student's name. And it just continues on until everyone knows who they're writing their letter to and all the names are gone. Now don't worry, just because all the names are now gone does not mean you have to retype all your students' names in. As long as you saved your list, when you go back to your bookmarked page, everybody will still be there and it's ready for the next time you use it. Once my students are done writing their letters, they will then fold them up, place the student's name on the front of the letter that it's to, then place them in our mailbox that I brought into the classroom, and put the flag up. The letters will not get distributed until the next day by our mailman, and this is a classroom job I have, so the mailman rotates weekly. I have done this activity with multiple ages of students, including early childhood, elementary, upper elementary, and middle school. Now, depending on your class, you may want to quickly scan your letters just to make sure that they're set up correctly, or you may need to scan them to make sure they're writing appropriate things. You don't want to open up a way for bullying to occur. Just tell your students this is a way to show that they are trustworthy and a good neighbor. This activity encourages writing skills, it helps build classroom community, and it works on memorization because you are requiring your students to memorize those 5 parts of a friendly letter. Most years, teachers receive students in the middle or the end of the school year. I have had my entire class write welcoming letters to these incoming students, where they had 20 letters their first day of class. Later on, these students told me how much these letters meant to them. You could take this activity outside of the classroom by having the students write to a book buddy in another grade level. You could even widen the student circle of learning by pairing with another teacher in the same grade level and having the students correspond with a student their age. This could be within the same district or in another state. If you choose to go this route, the students may form a close friendship that without this activity, they may not have had the opportunity to do so. Throughout the Bible, we find so many letters written to others. These letters were highly important and inspired by God. By encouraging friendly communication among your students, you are teaching the virtue of kindness and caring for others. Again, thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to be proud of your work, productive in your day, and positively joyful.